Hello, hope you are doing well. Welcome to Infinity Academy. So here in this video we are going to discuss the MPSC mains previous questions of the strength of the material subject which are given in the year 2018. So before discussing that, just for your information, here on behalf of Infinity Academy we have a book in which you can find all the previous year's questions with a detailed explanation which consists of nearly 1600 questions. Okay, so let us go into the questions. So first question is, at a point in the web of a girder, the bending stress is 3 MPa and the shearing stress at the same point is 2 MPa. So in the strength of materials, even though if it is a point, it is represented like this. So on that bending stresses are there, which is 3 MPa, and that is tensile. So let us consider the stresses like this. And the shearing stress at the same point is 2 MPa. Okay, shearing stress is how much? Shearing stress is 2 MPa. So this is 2 MPa and this is 3 MPa. So now in this case they are asking you what is the maximum shear stress. Okay, they are asking you what is the maximum shear stress. So in this case, to determine the maximum shear stress, what is the actual formula is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2. That is the major principal stress minus minor principal stress by 2. But in this case we don't know what is the major principal stress and minor principal stress. So how you need to solve this question is directly you have to take the formula of maximum shear stress. Tau max in this case is under root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus a tau xy square. Okay, this is the formula we can use. Now in this case, sigma x equal to how much? Sigma x equal to 3 MPa, sigma y equal to 0 and tau xy equal to 2 MPa. So just substitute that here, you will get it as 3 by 2 whole square plus tau xy. Tau xy equal to how much? 2. Tau xy is 2 MPa. So 3 by 2 whole square means that is 1.5 whole square plus 2 square, and this value will be equal to under root of 6.25. Okay, under root of 6.25, and you know under root of 6.25 is how much? 2.5. So 2.5 MPa is the answer for this. 2.5 MPa is the answer. So that's the first question. Next question. A beam of length 10 meter carries a uniformly distributed load of 20 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so now they are saying what? They are saying that it is a simply supported beam. Okay, it is a simply supported beam and it consists of a UDL. Okay, it consists of UDL. And what is the magnitude of the UDL? They are giving 20 kilonewton per meter. 20 kilonewton per meter over its entire length and rests on two simple supports. In order that the maximum bending moment produced in the beam is the least possible, the supports must be placed from the ends at a distance of. That means they are not placing the supports at the ends here. They are not placing the supports at the ends because they want to reduce the bending moment. They want to reduce the maximum bending moment produced in the beam. So for that purpose, what they are doing is they are keeping the supports somewhere here. Now whatever the total span is there here, that is equal to how much is 10 meters. Okay, total span is equal to how much? 10 meters. Then suppose let us consider this distance as A. At which you are placing the support from the ends. Then this is the standard case basically, and to this case we have to use the formula of A equal to 0.207 L. Now L equal to 10 meters here, so 0.207 into 10, that is equal to 2.07 meter. Remember, this is very important formula and in engineering services they have asked this question number of times. So there is high probability to get this kind of questions. So in exam we can't solve all the question, all the data here, and we can't get the answer. That takes a lot of time. So instead just remember this formula, you can do this easily. So next question they're asking is from the simple stresses and strain, and the question is choose the correct relation between modulus of elasticity, modulus of rigidity, and bulk modulus from the following options. So if you take these three parameters, the equation we can write for these three parameters is E equal to 9 kg by 3k plus g. So this is the relation between these three parameters. Now you can write this equation as 1 by E equal to 3k plus g by 9 kg. So like this you can write the equation. Now after writing this, suppose if you take this 9 here, okay, if you take this 9 here, you can write this equation as 9 by E equal to, okay, 9 by E equal to, then here you will have 3k by kg plus g by kg. So like this you will get. Now this can be written as 9 by E, k gets cancelled, 3 by z plus g gets cancelled, 1 by k will be there. So this is the equation you get after rearranging this. So which option is correct here? Option B is correct. Yes, right. The option B is correct. Okay. So let us go into the next question. In a simple bending theory, one of the assumptions is that the material of the beam is isotropic. This assumption means that, so now they are saying that material is isotropic. When the material is isotropic, which of the following is valid? So basically in strength of materials, every time we get one assumption, that is the material is homogeneous and isotropic. So now what is homogeneous and what is isotropic is, suppose you have an object like this, and in the object we have number of points. Suppose at all these points in a given direction, if property of a material is same, that is called as homogeneous. So when I say homogeneous, you have to consider different points. But you should consider in same direction. So at different points in same direction, if a given property is the same, then material is called as homogeneous. Then what is isotropic is, consider a point suppose, and now after considering this point, then if you take any property in this direction and this direction and this direction, that means consider the given property in number of directions. So if a given property is same in number of directions at a single point, okay, so point is same, only one point, but different directions. So in this case, if a given property is same, that is called as isotropic. But what should be constant is basically the elastic constant must be constant. Okay, elastic constant must be same in all the directions. So here if you observe, this assumption means that elastic constants are same in all the directions. Okay, elastic constants are same in all the directions. Okay, that's the formula. Stresses may not be same, but the properties of the material must be same, which are the elastic constant. Okay, that's the thing. Next question. In the torsion equation, fifth question. A simply supported beam of length L carries a point load W at a point C as shown in the figure. The maximum deflection lies at. Same question is given in the year 2019. We have already explained there. Same question was given. If you want that video, you can watch in the video section. But remember that in the case of a simply supported beam, always the maximum deflection takes place. Always the maximum deflection takes place nearer to the center. Okay, nearer to the center. Suppose this is the center here, and near to the center in the direction of load. Suppose load is here, point load is here. In between these 2 points, maximum deflection takes place. So now, suppose this is the point D. So in between C and D, maximum deflection takes place. Now, if you see the option point A, no deflection will be there. And next one is point B, no deflection will be there. Point C, it will not be exactly at point C, but in between C and D. So you can say the answer as between the points B and C. So option D is the right answer. Next question. In the torsion equation, T by J equal to tau by R equal to C theta by L. So in this question they are asking the term J by R is called as. Okay, the term J by R is called as. So basically if you take the flexural equation, we have that F by Y equal to M by I. Now you can rearrange this equation as M by F equal to I by Y. So like this you can write the equation. Okay, so now whatever this term is there here, okay, whatever this term is there, this term is called as a section modulus. This term is called as what? Section modulus. But if you take this equation, which is the torsional equation, now whatever this equation T by J equal to tau by R is there, that can be written as T by tau equal to J by R. Okay, torsion moment divided by stresses, that is equal to J by R. So whatever this J by R is there, here J is the polar moment of inertia. So this term is called as polar modulus. It is called as what? Polar modulus. So that is the answer. Next question. Two solid shafts A and this is A and B's. A and B are made up of the same material. The shaft A is of 50 mm diameter and shaft B is of 100 mm diameter. The strength of the shaft B is dash of that of shaft A. Okay, so that is the question they are asking. So now basically the strength depends on the parameter of polar modulus. Okay, in case of the shaft, strength depends on what? Polar modulus. And in this case, in the case of the shaft, circular shaft, what is the formula for the polar modulus is pi d cube by 16. Okay, pi d cube by 16. Now suppose you take the first shaft, you take the shaft B here and shaft A there. Okay, shaft B and shaft A. So first one, consider the strength as SB, sorry, for second one consider the strength as SB, second one consider the strength as SA. So this depends on, this directly proportional to polar modulus I am saying. So that is equal to pi d B cube by 16 divided by pi d A cube by 16. Okay, so you can simply write it like pi gets cancelled, 16 gets cancelled, SB by SA equal to dB cube by dA cube. And they have given like shaft A is of 50 mm diameter and shaft B is of 100 mm diameter. So 100 by 50 whole cube you can write. 100 by 50 whole cube. Okay, now 51 jar, 52 jar, so 2 cube, that is 8 times. So it will be 8 times stronger. Okay, shaft B will be 8 times stronger than shaft A. Obviously, when the shaft diameter is going to increase, then its strength increases. So here how much time it will be, what will be the impact is, it will be cube of the diameter basically. It will be cube of the diameter. So it will be, as it is doubled, it will be 8 times. Next one. The shear force on a simply supported beam is proportional to. Shear force they are saying. So basically if you take any beam, shear force at any point, okay, shear force at any point, that is the algebraic sum of the transverse forces. Algebraic sum of the transverse forces. So it's not directly proportional to exactly, it is not proportional to exactly speaking. The shear force at any point itself is the algebraic sum of the transverse forces. So directly this will be the answer. But remember that it will be like algebraic sum of all the transverse forces up to that point. You have to consider up to that point. If you consider algebraic sum of all the transverse forces, then what happens? Then it will be 0. Then it will be 0. So shear force means you have to consider the algebraic sum of transverse forces only up to that point. Okay, so that's the answer. D is the answer. Next question. Deflection of the free end of the cantilever having point load at the midspan is. Now a cantilever beam is given like this, and on the cantilever beam you are applying your point load here. You are applying your point load here at the midspan. Then suppose this is L by 2 here, this is L by 2. Then they are asking what is the deflection at the free end. At this point they are asking the deflection. Then basically in this case, whatever your deflection curve is there, that will be like this. Okay, so up to this point it will be curve, but after this point, as the bending moment is 0 in this span, the beam bends like this. Okay, beam bends like this. So here first I need to know what is the deflection at this point. And what will be the deflection at this point is simply WL by 2 whole cube divided by 3EI. WL by 2 whole cube divided by 3EI. So that is the deflection at this point. Then once if I know the slope at this point, that will be usually WL by 2 whole square divided by 2EI. So that is the slope at this point. Now with this slope, if I multiply this span, I will get what is this value. Okay, so I know the slope here and I know this distance here, then I can calculate that easily. How to calculate this value is multiply the slope with this distance. So let us see how to do the complete calculation. So total this deflection equal to this value divided this value plus this value. So it will be WL by 2 whole cube. That means how much it is? WL cube by 24EI it will be. WL cube by 24EI. And what will be this value here? WL square by 8EI into this span is L by 2 here. Okay, this span is L by 2. So now do the calculation. WL cube by 24EI plus WL cube by 16EI. WL cube by 16EI. So upon calculating this, how much you will get is, this you can write as 2WL cube by 48EI. This you can write as 3WL cube by 48EI. So totally how much it will be equal to? 5WL cube by 48EI. 5WL cube by 48EI. So that's the answer. Okay, that is the answer. Next one. An element in a strained body is subjected to only shear stress of intensity 50 MPa tending to rotate the body in clockwise direction. What is the magnitude of the principal stress? They are asking what is the magnitude of the principal stress. So now an element is there and it is subjected to only shear stress. It is subjected to only shear stress that is tending to rotate the body in clockwise direction. So only shear stress are there like this. In this case, they are asking what is the magnitude of principal stress. And you know the formula for the principal stress, that is equal to sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus or minus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy whole square. Now you know that sigma x is 0 there because sigma x there is only pure shear. So sigma x is 0, sigma y equal to 0, and tau xy value is how much? 50 MPa. Okay, tau xy value is how much? 50 MPa. So as it is 50 MPa, this will become plus or minus root of 50 square, which is equal to plus or minus 50 MPa. So what will be the answer? Plus or minus 50 MPa. So remember, in case of pure shear, always the principal stress will be whatever the shear value you have applied. But maximum principal stress may be positive value, and minimum principal stress may be the negative value. So like that it is. Next question. Strain energy stored in a solid shaft due to the application of torque T at free end while other end is fixed. If G is the shear modulus, J is the polar moment of inertia, and L is the length of the shaft will be. Okay, so basically when you apply the shaft, in case when you apply the torsion on a shaft, it will be subjected to twisting. So what will be the strain energy in this case is strain energy equal to half T theta. Okay, it will be equal to how much? Half T theta. So here whatever the theta is there, for that you know what is the formula. Okay, in terms of torsion, what is the formula for theta? That is TL by GJ. So this is the equation from torsional. This is the term from torsional equation. From the torsional equation, theta equal to TL by GJ. So now if you simplify this, you can write it as half into T square L by GJ. So T square L by 2 GJ, that is the answer. T square L by 2 GJ, that is the answer. So these are the 11 questions given in the year 2018. Okay, thank you.